Reikland Runefang battle on legendary difficulty. I've set up my army here. Swords to the front, making sure that I'm going to get the downhill advantage, uphill advantage, whichever way you want to put it. Make sure I have a clear line of fire for my crossbows, my handgunners, for my mortar, keeping the knights in reserve, keeping Karl Franz in the center. I assume cavalry is going to come from the flanks, so I have halberdiers on the flanks. I have spears in the forest. My pistoliers are going to run up and start dealing damage early on. They don't do that much damage, but any damage is any damage I can get in for free. I try to get as close as possible to maximize the amounts of shots that hit. The mortars are doing a lot of damage to the Marauder Horsemen. And the reason why I'm firing on the Marauder Horsemen is because they have missiles. So again, running very close to the Marauders, trying to do as much damage as possible. And the mortar, one mortar, is going to be instrumental in defeating these units. Any Marauder Horseman I kill is going to mean less ammunition for the unit to be able to throw at my men. They have armor-piercing missiles, so although they're going to be firing uphill against shielded infantry, that's why I've kept my spears... well, there are spearmen with shields, so it doesn't really matter. But they're going to take less damage in the forest anyway. And facing this army in the open is a death sentence. Here comes the enemy character. I'm going to send Karl Franz over. Give them 100% charge resistance. So, not the best charge from Alfric there. Great hits from the mortar. And I'm going to send Karl Franz downhill charge into Alfric. Alfric isn't well armored, so Karl Franz should do well against him. Marauders charging uphill, not going to do too well there. And I can't rush out of my formation to get at the Marauder Horsemen. I need to keep in formation. Now the crossbowmen killing off Marauder Horsemen fairly effectively. And this type of blobbing scenario with the character in front, infantry behind, is absolutely ideal for dealing with the massed infantry. You can see the swordsmen are taking a lot of damage from the throwing axes of the Marauders. I am firing on the Marauders, but I'm not able to kill them effectively enough. I'm going to use my Reiksguard, charge downhill into the blob, but I don't get the best charge here. I actually mainly just run into the blob. Oh, there we go, charging. So they're surrounding the blob as well, pushing them together, and getting nice kills. So the swordsmen have actually broken, but Karl Franz is holding. Now I can flank charge this blob. Over here as well, the swordsmen have taken a lot of damage, but the mortar fire is going to make sure that these units come back in a very depleted state. I managed to see off the Marauder Horsemen. Crossbowmen about to walk out of formation because they have attack orders, so I'm going to send them back at some point. But the first wave has been beaten back. Lost a unit. The Chaos lost many more. And they keep taking fire as they run back, so that's fairly effective. Now there's going to be more waves of enemies coming. Over here, they spawn on the flanks. So these units are just going to run back and forth, get shot to pieces as the reinforcements move through the forest. Yeah, they get hammered. Now what I'm going to do, since the reinforcements come from the flanks, I'm going to shift my swordsmen, my depleted swordsmen. The spears are just going to hold. I'm using what's it called? Not defensive formation, but I'm ordering them to hold position. Guard mode. I'm ordering them to use guard mode. They are uphill, so I should be able to hold reasonably well here. Let's see. I am losing decisively actually. But let's see if we can turn that around somehow. For example, by sending over Karl Franz. There we go. Karl Franz turns that around by charging through his own unit. And once again, infantry behind, character in the front. The character can't get surrounded that way. Now I can send the cavalry around, start shooting and start rear charging, which even on legendary difficulty, that's going to break quite a few units, especially marauders. And if this was a real Empire battle, I imagine this is how the Empire would fight. Very disciplined, taking the high ground, letting chaos wash over them. Now the Reiksguard took a bit of friendly fire there, that wasn't the plan. They are exposed, so I'm going to try to take care of some enemy units with them, so they don't just take damage. So I turn around, charge the Chaos Warhounds. And the Chaos Warhounds, even though they have poison, no match for Reiksguard. The mortar, once again, it's just such a useful piece of artillery in battles like these. Breaking units, doing damage before the main engagement starts. Now, there are going to be more waves of chaos coming, but I am ready for them. I have put all of my infantry on the flanks. And just use the Reiksguard to chase away these guys a bit. And here, more chaos is coming, so I need to reorient my lines. Send the Reiksguard just to hold the blob and to ensure that I can do more damage with my missiles. So I sacrifice the Reiksguard. They have served their purpose. Miscast there for the enemy wizard, which helps me a lot. Using the Pistoliers to try and shoot him down. Then I'm going to send Karl Franz directly into the blob. I want to create a huge blob here that I'm able to rear charge with my infantry. So here it comes. The blob. Now mass charge towards the blob with infantry. Cavalry closing off the blob from the rear. And sending the halberdiers against the cavalry general of the enemy is very useful. It doesn't have a lot of armor, but it helps reducing his health to fight him with a unit that has a bonus against cavalry. So now the blob is closed off on all sides. I have Karl Franz in the center. The Pistoliers are losing hard on the flanks.
No lingering! Quick march!
But hopefully the infantry is able to hold. Reorienting my skirmishers a bit so I can mass fire down on the chaos troops. And Karl Franz getting a lot of kills in the blob. As the Pistoliers break, I keep some depleted units here to stop the cavalry from getting to my skirmishers. But at this point, it's fairly certain that I'm going to be able to win this.
Let's go.
Enemy character comes back,
Prepare for combat.
but he's taking fire.
Get to battle.
Charging uphill,
Fight, men.
not very effective.
To live.
Just rushing the enemy wizard with spear and sword and warhammer. And that's it. Very defensive. Taking care of getting any terrain advantages I can. Rear charges. And another victory on legendary difficulty. So this tactic works. Nice kills on the Reiksguard, very nice kills on the crossbows, nice kills on Karl Franz. And the Norscan army, nothing does really well there. But on legendary difficulty, it's so difficult to break units anyway that you have to damage them with missiles. You have to get the terrain advantage, and you have to rare charge. Those 3 things, if you manage to do those 3 things, then you win on legendary difficulty. And that's one of the reasons I don't particularly like playing on legendary difficulty in campaign, because you need to, you need to pick and choose your battles, you need to pick and choose the terrain a lot, and it slows down campaigns something fierce. Strength and honor.